have never been done so in the first place. However, the Ministry of National Defense is responsible for procedural lapses in the management, expenditure, and utilization of said funds. Consequently, the government of Liberia has determined that it is appropriate.
And yet, the senators that should be advocating for the Liberian people's interest, where are they? They're all with Joe Burger. 19 of them are with Joe Burger. And they're saying, we want the continuation of this. But the president has given up all of our resources. 66 bad concession agreements. Joe Burger as head of the Senate, the man who approved the agenda of the Senate. Now, folks, something you all need to know that you don't know. You know who's the head of the Liberian Senate? Joseph Yuma Boaka. You know who approves the agenda for discussion, the things that the Senate does? Joseph Boaka. He approves the Senate's agenda. Everything, all the bad concessions, all the bad government deals that they can do, that can go to the Senate for ratification. Who presides? Joe Boaka. Who approves the agenda? Joe Boaka. He does everything. When I hear some of you say he's an honest old man, he is just as wicked and good for nothing as Aaron. And yet some of you backplay and say you won't vote for him. Liberians.
If Mr. Weir is a boy, then I think he's a good boy.
Fear is forward. No one is afraid of yesterday. Let us not seek to satisfy our taste for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. It is on this foundation we build a better Liberia. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. And so what affects one affects everyone indirectly. The true peace is not a mere absence of tension. It is the presence of justice. And oftentimes on this program we remind you that people should not be afraid of their government. Governments should be afraid of the people. Courage is not a mere absence of fear, but the ability to overcome. And an informed citizenry is one of the best guarantees of a continuing democracy. I greet you this morning in the name of peace, democracy and freedom. You are under the sound of my voice, not as a prophet, but as a humble servant. It is in your hands to make Liberia better. Good morning, folks. Good morning, Liberia. Good morning, Liberians. Good morning from across the 15 political subdivisions of this country. It pleases us to sit on this radio Mondays to Fridays, informing you Liberians about the happenings in this country. Like we always remind you, it is in your hands to make Liberia better. And sometimes we ask the necessary question, are we progressing or are we retrogressing as a country? What can we do collectively to build a Liberia that we all deserve? Good morning, folks. Good morning, Liberia. And good morning from across the 15 political subdivisions. This is Good Morning Liberia. on the Voice of Liberia 104.1. Thanks for joining us. Those of you following us via the radio, we say thanks so kindly for joining us. For those of you as well via the Facebook, we say thanks so kindly for following us. Those of you watching on YouTube, via our online radio listening as well at www.voiceofliberiaonline.com. We say thanks so kindly for joining us. This is where we use all of the platforms to bring the information to you. So you follow Voice of Liberia via the Facebook at Voice of Liberia, on YouTube, Voice of Liberia, on the online radio, www.voiceofliberiaonline.com, and also on your frequency at 104.1 FM. Good morning, folks. Good morning and welcome to the Thursday's edition of the program. Good morning, Liberia. And this is a Harris S. Billy presentation. My name is Harris Billy, saying good morning and welcome to today's edition. And so thanks so kindly for following us. Those of you following us via the Facebook, like we said, thanks so kindly. Yep. Thanks so kindly for joining us. We appreciate you to share the live video. Help us share the live video. A lot of you watching out this morning, and Johnson T. Mwaba said, great. Thanks, Johnson. Junji Wawa says, I'm watching from Johnsonville. Thanks, Junji. Emmett Hammond says, I'm following live this morning from Cat City. Thanks, Emmett. Papi Keita says, good morning, Liberia-VOL. I'm Papi CDC Success Keita from Dupont Row. Thanks. Paid McKinney says, good morning. Good morning, P. District 16 Youth League says, we are following. Thanks so kindly. Amara Fofana says, good morning. Good morning, Amara. Honorable George Watkins Jr. says, good morning, everyone. Thanks so kindly, George, for following. Bobino Kaka Jr. says, good morning. Harris is Billy. Thanks so kindly, Bobino. And he said, keep up the good work, Voice of Liberia. Thanks. Chris Sandy Fanmole says, I'm watching from Paris. Thanks so kindly, Chris. And all of you as well for following. Help us share the live video. Invite someone to follow as well on the program. Too many things to talk about this morning. Lots of issues to look at. Yeah, we'll have a play that is reloaded to bring the discussion, fellow Liberians. But let's give you the rundown of what we're going to be looking at this morning. At 8 or 9 o'clock, we're going to have a conversation on this radio. We have extended an invitation to the workers of the Beach and Waterways Project. Remember, some years back, the government of Liberia rolled out the Beach and Waterways Project in a bid to give, Liberians, those Liberians that were out of job, to empower them. And over 2,000 youth, young people, women, single mothers were part of that project. And so the project ended. The government is about to roll out a new one. I've been told this time around we incorporate about 3,000 or more people to form part of that project. But since the climax of the previous phase of the project, there has been a lot of complaints. Some Liberians that are part of the project says they haven't received the remuneration what the government should have given them. While the government, on the other hand, has said we have completed our obligation as part of the memorandum of understanding signed on May 11, 2021. We said we're going to provide $2 million to settle all of the salary benefits associated with the project. We have done that. The Minister of Youth and Sports is on record for saying that we have completed all of our financial obligation with phase 1 of the project. But again, on the other hand, the project focus person from the communities have said, no, we still have some Liberians, some over 2,000-3,000 persons that haven't is yet to receive their benefits from the project. So we felt the need to extend a conversation to them to hear their position and what are the factors surrounding that, because we have been told that those 3,000 persons that they are claiming have not received their benefits are unauthorized individuals. And so as part of the memorandum of understanding, there are two categories of people. So we're going to have a conversation surrounding that development this morning at 8 o'clock. We are setting up until 9 o'clock. Liberia has secured membership in the World Business Angels Investment Forum. And so the World Business Angels Investment Forum, it is a global body that brings together countries, the business community from across countries. It is under this administration that the World Business Angels Forum, Investment Forum, has granted membership to Liberia. And so we're going to have the focus person of that project. It's going to be the online interview. Yep, we have extended invitation to him. I'm told he's outside of Liberia now negotiating on behalf of the business community of Liberia. And mind you, this government have said on numerous occasions that Liberian businesses will be prioritized. And so as part of that promised, you have to attract all of people come, and help build your economy, help grow your business environment. Over the times, there have been a lot of engagements, a lot of efforts from the business community. You want to talk about the patriotic entrepreneurs of Liberia, the Liberia Business Association, and other business groupings that have been engaging, leaving the country out, bringing investors, attracting, presenting a picture that other people can trust the Liberian business climate and say, oh yes, there are reasons for which we can invest in this country. There are reasons why we should come and do business and explode the business climate of Liberia. So it is a very good one for our business community that we have secured our membership at the World Business Angels Investment Forum. If you read countries like the United States, Great Britain, you want to talk about Japan, Germany, you want to talk about other African countries, Nigeria, are all part of that forum. And so for Liberia to be a member, it is a plus for our business community. And it's under this administration that is happening. So we're going to have a conversation this morning between 9:15 up to 9:30, bring the project focus person on to have that conversation surrounding that. What it means for Liberia, how does it play out that the membership of Liberia are going to help empower the business community? These are questions we're going to ask this morning. So folks, good morning and welcome. Like those of you have said, thanks so kindly for following. But we want to begin this conversation on something I want to use the term dramatic, right? That happened sometimes of Tuesday or Wednesday. That's on Wednesday yesterday. Or I stand to be correct on Tuesday. That's the day the legislative staffers, right, went on and endorsed the candidacy of the Unity Party ticket, Ambassador Joseph Boakai. So the legislative staffers at a program held in the chambers of the legislature, they went on and declared presented Ambassador Boakai their support. And according to them, they believe that Ambassador Boakai is the right person, according to them. And so because of that and other reasons, they pledged their support to Ambassador Boakai. But there are a few things we want to look at in that support. You see, when people come out, especially during elections, that's why I love every time when it's election nearing period, you challenge yourself to understand the realities of things. You should be able to read between the lines and see who are those that are coming to support. The force they have. How can they change the situation, right? You want to record in 2017. Let's begin a conversation in 2017. We're going to have a few minutes on this discussion, and at which time we're going to, sometimes as we move along, this conversation will still be on the docket. We're going to have a discussion on it. Sometimes in 2017, you can record around March, May, around the same period, right? In 2017, around the same period, about 19 senators had gone to endorse the candidacy of Ambassador Boakai at the time that he was vice president, at the time that he was at the head of the Liberian Senate. So it tells you at that time the power he has. And they went on and declared support for Ambassador Barker. But there are a few there are a few things that stood up, right? So they went and pledged their support. And so they went, they pledged their support to Ambassador Barker. Fast forward, since they pledged their support to Ambassador Barker in 2017, senators at that time, they had the monetary strength, they had the political capital at that time in 2017, according to them, and they pledged their support to Ambassador Barker. It went on, nothing came out of it. In 2017, after that, we know the results of the elections. And out of that 19 senators, 10 of them lost the following elections. 10 of them lost the following elections, including the head, Senator Harry Yara at that time, signed the resolution on behalf of the 19 senators. In 2017, when they did that, in 2020, they lost the elections. 10 of them lost the election. And 9 of them will be going back with there are expectations that they won't be re-elected. Especially 9 of them. You want to talk about the likes of Maurice Atumane. You want to talk about the likes of other individuals. Right? So this one that you guys are taking the news around, moving here and there that legislative staff was, have endorsed the candidates of Ambassador Barker. It makes no news. It is nothing new from what happened in 2017. It is nothing new from what happened when 19 senators at the time, 19 senators that had a monetary strength, 19 senators that had at the time that have the political capital you want to talk about. In 2017, in 2017, right, that I had the monetary strength, I was able to go in various counties and engage the people. Okay, they sat together and said, okay, we'll support, the ticket of Ambassador Barker. At that time, he was head of the Liberian Senate. So you want to talk about, he had the strength, he had everything you want to think about. And they went to the elections and they were defeated narrowly. They were defeated by Ambassador Barker. By President George Weah. So what are we saying? We want to present the case in the current realities. But what got my attention yesterday, right? There was a song that is, I know there's a video surfacing on Facebook where you see the head of the legislative staff force in Charles Brown, is serving as a choir director and is singing, some, a whole lot of, I don't know how to term it, but, he's singing Joe, we are go back and forth. But there are a few things I want to bring to your mind quickly before we move on. Our politics, we got to understand where we're heading in this country. We got to understand where people come before you and say we are the change maker. Try to examine them. Try to know who are they. Seek them as much as possible to understand who they are. The likes of Charles Brown will stand before you and tell you that they are the ones that will make decisions for you, that you want to listen to them. The likes of Charles Brown and Ambassador Barker will come and tell you, say, we're supporting you, we have the voice, then you listen to him. You gotta be kidding. People are drunk for power in this country to the extent they don't know who to accept support from. That's why I've said, if I was a politician, right? At any point in time of my life, I choose to be a politician. There are a few things that I won't accept for anybody. Number one, you come in to support me, I must look at, number one, your moral integrity. I must know, I must look at what you have stood for over the time and your integrity in what you stand for, what you stand to achieve. The likes of Charles Brown, a better driven individual. Have you followed the track record of Charles Brown in bombing? Do you know how many times Charles Brown has embarked on blackmailing government officials, blackmailing people? That's how he survived. That is that the individual you come into Ambassador Barker to present to the Liberian people, to present as the individuals that you are depending on to achieve your quest of entering the executive mansion. You are far from reality, right? That's why when we witnessed Charles Brown endorsing your ticket, it was like a mess. It was like a mere bluff. It shows nothing. It shows nothing. In 2017, you had 19 senators Now from a mayor or mayor legislative staff or I'm saying one who even in his own county, he has contested 17 times. He can't win even a community chairmanship in his community. Let's to say the representative positions he has contested over the times in Bomi. Is that a character you want to bring? Or character that cannot enter in Bomi because he has insulted the women of Bomi? Today you carry Charles Brown Bomi, he will be arrested by traditional chiefs and elders in Bomi. Because this is a man that has desecrated womanhood in Bomi. This is a man that has insulted women in Bomi. Is that a man that come to to endorse a candidate or Baka? Then you say that thing is something we should take serious? You got to be kidding. That's what we have said, right? That's what we have said. People are drunk for power in this country until they don't know who to accept support from. They are drunk for power to the point that even the man has killed the people that are using knives and killed our loved ones in this country. They are still dining and whining with them. A character, the Charles Brown that is stingless. A character that's Charles Brown that is fought funny. A character like Charles Brown, you want to talk about, will tell me that has a character like Charles Brown will say, legislative staff us, we legislative staff us are endorsing your candidacy and you sit there and say you have something. Tell him to go in your country to talk to the people. Tell him to enter Bomi and speak with the people in Bomi to support you and hear the reactions and listen to the reactions in Bomi and listen to what the women of Bomi are saying and listen to them. Listen, I'm going to play you a clip quick before we take our guests on the first segment, right? This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying things so you get to know it. This is a man that have taken the streets of Tokman Bread and insulted the women in Bomi to a point that today Charles Brown cannot enter Bomi. All of his advocates, all of what he says he stands for is just around, around the capital building and so forth. 3 times he has contested in Bomi for a representative seat. He has lost everything. The 3 times he contested, he became the top 5 candidates in the race. He's not among them. Is that a character you bring in about Baka? Is that a person you are trusting? Is that a person you think he can deliver an agenda? And that's what we have said to you people. We understand how thirsty you are. We understand how hungry you are to enter the executive mansion. We understand that you guys can compromise anything. Because for the fact is that if you can stay and say, even those are killed, you are not looking for people that has integrity, right? You are not looking for people that have integrity, rather. You are looking for individuals that you just want support from. So that's why you bring a character like Charles Brown and you look at the legs of Dara Dillon and I always try and preach about integrity issues. Dara Dillon that sit and say they can't do business on Musa Benedict because he's corrupt. Do you know why Charles Brown was expelled at that time? He was working in Sendabi back then, 2013, 2014, when he was working in Sendabi as a coordinator. That's a supervisor, rather. He was suspended because there's a character that stole cement from the company and he was dismissed from his position. Go Bomi. Charles Brown live with the shame in Bomi. Is that a character you want to bring? And we see Darius Dillon and other individuals that want to speak on integrity, that sit on the radio and sit in the various areas and say they can't do business with Musa Benedict because of integrity issues. Is that a character then you are whining dining with a rogue or man that was dismissed off his job because he stole from the company? And you trust in such an individual. Listen to this. This is what makes Charles Brown cannot enter Bomi, because he insulted and denigrated women in Bomi. And the traditional women stood up and said, we need a living bond of Charles Brown. Today, he cannot enter Bomi as we speak. What strength he has. What he has to support Ambassador Baka to win the presidency. Listen to this. This is the reason why Charles Brown cannot enter Bomi.
Charles Brown. And I'm all the representative that we don't want you to.
Thank you.
Someone trying to be a slave.
Thank you.
We here. Chairman of the region. Anything that you can't do all. But Charles Brown not do it. We the women from money. They just you know this are coming. That woman for you. If you want to pass, and you go to your home, you cause. When you just stand when they pass, all of them are doing the passing. You want to see them, you see them so that the company doesn't know. And you're a channel. Charles Brown. And I'm all the representative that we don't want you to cause.
Thank you.
Someone trying to be a slave.
Thank you.
We here. Chairman of the region. Anything that you can't do all. But Charles Brown not do it. We the women from money. They just you know this are coming. That woman for you. If you want to cross, and you go to your hall, you cross. When you can't stand when they cross, all of them are doing the crossing. You want to see them.
This is the head of the traditional women in bombing. This is the head of the traditional women in bombing. So it tells you the kind of character like Ambassador Bracken and Danny and Wani with. They went on and bring former warlords, those are killed, those are preventing war crimes from coming in this country. Those are doing everything and poisoning the minds of others to not support the coming of war crimes caught in this country, like Supreme Johnson and others. He has sided with them. Again, he went on and sided with another individual, a man that has abused the tradition of bombing. A man has abused the women of bombing. A man today that cannot enter bombing. But there he sits at the legislature, all right? He sits there as a head of the legislative staffers and endorsing you, and you feel that you can work with these kinds of individuals. Liberians, you have to question the characters that will be associated with the people. It tells you that when they take over government, these are the same individuals that they're going to work with. The individuals that have insulted you, those that have brought the worst upon you. They will be the ones that will govern, that will lead you in the various areas. You need to look at character. Listen, during electoral process, these are things you look at. In a candidate, you look for their moral integrity. You look for their moral standings. You look for their moral uprightness. What they have done. If the person want to speak of change, look at a track record. They want to rescue you, look at a track record. Charles Brown will tell you they will rescue you after he has insulted and denigrated women in bombing. And he comes and tells you, say, he's going to support you, you're going to rescue you. Listen, after Prince Joseph all have killed all of you, your people, everything, they come and tell you they're going to rescue you, then you listen to it. These are things you need to look, listen, you need to read between the lines. You ought to understand what they are saying and what they have done in the past and draw your conclusion on who to support. But in all fairness, that endorsement is just one of, I don't know how to tell me to be, but I just don't know. So you guys have to look for something better. Maybe sometimes if you want to present a picture like Liberian people will buy into, look for people that has character. Look for people that has integrity. Look for people that are able to stand, that have to take you to their county and say, this is it. And the people listen to them. Child, we're able to take you in Ambassador Bracken to bombing people listen to you. You got to be kidding. We'll move on, folks. We have our guests in studio like we saw already. It comes from the beach and waterways. Like we said, we're going to have conversation on this issue. Those are receiving endorsements. You know, I just don't know what to say, but you ought to expect the kind of character you're working with. Yeah, this is the Liberians people's job. So for you to be trusted, these are things you got to look for. Who are you wanting and dining with? I mean, the character of the individual you are working with. But we'll go for this very short break as we urge in our guest. TELESIL Liberia is our sponsor. Obviously, TELESIL Liberia is our sponsor. And that's why we encourage you to do business with TELESIL. All of your internet needs, TELESIL Liberia is our sponsor. We'll go for this break to be ready.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? TELESIL Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At TELESIL, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with TELESIL Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At TELESIL, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. TELESIL Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399. Or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telesiliberia.com. Email us at info@telesiliberia.com. TELESIL Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. TELESIL Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
Okay, TELESIL Liberia is our guest. Like we said, oh my word, he's our sponsor. Oh my word, but we have with them workers from the beach and waterways, you know, Sometimes the government library initiated this project, the Beach and Waterways project, in a bit of empowering Liberians, giving jobs to Liberians so that they can be able to empower themselves. The first phase of that project has ended, and I have been told that a new phase is about to be rolled out. But following the climax of the first phase, there have been a lot of issues, there have been a lot of concerns being raised from workers of that project, and back to back and forth, they have held series of protests, calling on government to live up to a financial obligation. On the other hand, the government is saying, no, we have cleared all of you with financial status, so we don't owe to individuals. But we deem it necessary to bring them on. Yeah, but especially now that the new phase of the project is about to be rolled out. Gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Voice of Liberia.
Morning.
Good morning, thank you.
I'm trusting this is your first appearance on this radio.
Sure.
And what do you hope to achieve after this conversation? If you could answer better.
Well, there are several things, but first and foremost, we hope to receive listening ears, where stakeholders and DJ Barrow will listen and do the right thing so that we can live in a safe and peaceful society.
Okay. We'll move on now, begin with introduction. You want to tell us your name, the different areas you represent quickly. We'll begin from you then.
Thank you so much. So my name is Dekonti Woto. I'm from the borough of Krewtown and the head monitor of New Krewtown and the chairperson of Carpet Street community in New Krewtown.
Okay, and
I'm Mafasin Dawe from the township of West Point. I'm also the coordinator of the Beaches and Waterway in West Point.
Okay, so the both of you. First, when I heard the name Dekonti, I was thinking it was a female. By the way, I'm just kidding.
That is what many people think.
That's an Eastern name for both of them.
Oh, for both, for both male.
Everything else.
I just learned that. Usually when I hear Dekonti, I just feel that it's female. Yeah. But anyway, it's good to move on, gentlemen. We want to begin this conversation, right, by you individuals giving us the historicity of this project. I mean, how did you get involved? At what point in time were you incorporated on the government's plan, especially the different areas you represent and across the Beach and Waterways project? I want to begin with both of you. You got to tell you to provide us a historicity of this project and how the both of you, all of those communities were incorporated.
Thank you. So I can start the ball rolling. Okay. For the New Krewtown angle, the Beaches and Waterways started in 2011, September 18. And at that time, Madam Celia Coffees Brown was the head of that program. And when that program was launched, it incorporated West Point, Mama Point, EAW, and New Krewtown. And in 2011, when that program was launched, Madam Celia launched that program so as to give back to slum communities, okay? And in her own strategies with the PRS to reduce poverty in those slum communities. And the project became one of the safety network for ordinary slum dwellers to benefit. Clean your backyard and the government pays you. Very well. So that is just how it started in 2011. And it rolled on, it started with the Maritime Authority, right? But then we have our coordinator who was Arishkoto Kamo. He was the one chairing the program in New Krewtown. And we have the other lady that was then there at the time before Francita came after she left. Okay? Now, those people, we have supervisors, but then I was manual worker working on the project. Okay? And the project rolled through, and at a certain point in time, there was a conflict between the workers and the Maritime Authority. At that time, it was B.N. Cassidy, who was the commissioner at the time. And so we have to
That's during the Salif administration.
That's during the Salif administration. We have to protest to reach certain agreement with government, to the point that is why we always want people to understand, we want the minister to understand that this project leadership was voted upon by the same project dwellers, not knowing exactly what we're going to before us at the future. We set up a committee. We voted for our leadership, for which George Young was elected as a chairperson of the project. Edwin G.V. Kane was elected as a spokesperson of the project. in the midst of that confusion with we in Maritime, we, the monitors and the project leadership, were working with government to solve the problem. At the time, government owes us 8 months every year. And we have to pressure the government.
That's still under the Salif administration.
We pressure the government and then they pay us. And that was then when Minister Corner said, look, we'll take the program from Maritime.
How much in total did the government pay at that time you can record?
They pay $1 million.
$1 million.
And that $1 million
for the 8 months across.
We waved to the government again. That is an interesting thing. But then the government appealed to us again. It's the same kind of arrangement. That, look, we cannot give you all the 8 months. It will cost us this amount. We'll give you 5 months. We'll put you into the new budget and incorporate you.
Okay.
We agreed and signed that agreement, and we pay our workers 5 months across the board. And that was how the program ended with the Maritime Authority. And then they transitioned the program to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. At that time, the Ministry of Youth and Sports on 19th Street, Sinko. And it was Len Eugene Namwe, who is the Commissioner of Maritime, who was the minister by then, when that program went to Youth and Sports. Sir Ito, the deputy minister, he was the deputy minister, and Lance Bangayon, he was the assistant minister at the time when the program went there. We had the same difficulties during Madam Salif time. And at the time, Ministry of Youth and Sports wanted to downsize the people they were incorporating, turning them as old people. They don't want old people.
That's still moving on the Salif administration.
Okay,
that's right.
So this leadership, along with our past lawmakers, we stood our ground and everything subsided and the program remained. And in 2018, this administration came in and they met us on this program. Minister Wilson inherited this program that was functional, well-structured. And then at that time, the Madam Salif had some arrears for us. So when the CDC government came, they started to pay some Madam Salif arrears. At the same time, they were accumulating their arrears. That was how we went to 11 months when government of Oyo, when we staged that protest in June 2020. Based upon that protest, Major Koji, right before your station here, came and intercepted us and talked to us and called a dialogue between we and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. But then the government of Liberia gave us the first $1 million to reduce the tension among our people. We paid the old workers 4 months and paid the new workers 2 months in that $1 million because the period has swerved, because in 2018, new people came on the project from lawmakers, from all of us that caused that issue, and the period swerved. So we have to solve that problem among ourselves.
That's in 2020.
2018.
2018.
Coming to 2020 when we start to have that problem.
That's when the George Weah government took over.
All right. So when we received the $1 million, we paid. And then there was an MOU. We said we don't want to just receive money without signing an agreement. We had a previous agreement with Madam Salif. So it is important that we go into that arrangement. It was based upon that the mayor talked to us. We looked through the Madam Salif arrangement and then crafted this MOU and sent it to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I think you got a copy.
Yeah, I have a copy of that.
We sent this arrangement to the Ministry of Youth and Sports so that they can look through this and roll out the way forward. When we sent that, the Ministry of Youth and Sports told us clearly that the government of Liberia has only $2 million to pay beaches and waterways.
To work in to pay the beaches and waterways.
Yeah, at that time, we are already paid 4 months. We are left with 17 months.
For 17 months.
Yeah, so
that's the debt incurred from the past administration entering the new one.
The past administration, they are already cleared the past administration.
The past administration cleared all of the debt
before the George Weah. So they start accumulating their own arrears. So when we look at that, we send this MOU to the minister. We say, okay, send you get $2 million. What we do, we talk to our people because this is government. The government is challenged, right? That amount was up to $8 million at the time. After they paid the $1 million, around $7 million. Okay. So when they talk to us, we agree. We went back to our people and talked to them. Say, look, government is challenged. Government said they got $2 million. But the most important thing is that government will retain you people. The people were happy. It was based upon that we signed this agreement. But the most important, that is just the historicity.
Yeah,
I think
Mark,
before we delve into the other issue.
I think you want to come in as well.
Yeah, so looking at how the project came about, I can remember in 2011 when the early administration came up with the poverty reduction strategy, They thought it was a means of incorporating the common people into government plan. Because at that time, there used to be a lot of dissatisfaction, people protesting from one end to another end. So they thought it was to use the project as a means of incorporating people into government so they can be able to protect their own government, protect their country. So when the project came, you saw that the issue of disgruntled activity reduced in slums community, to be precise, West Pine, Nicrutan, and all of the activity went down. The issue of crime too reduced, and people were involved in different activity because of the little money they were getting from the project. So the idea was to keep the country safe and secure. Now, rolling over to the Weah's administration, there is something that happened prior to President Weah taking over. We had some money that government owed us, but the Ministry of Youth and Sports at the time delayed in preparing all of the documents, and we were told by the president that after elections there are certain amount of money that she cannot sign for. So we have to wait let the next government take over and then go and do the payment. But the money was already there and secure.
That's what the Saliva administration told you.
Yes, it was already there and secure. I think it was at that time Minister Boyman Kamara, from the finance minister at the time. So we agreed we had to wait until the new administration take over so they can be able to make the funding available for people to get their money. So that money was already there.
There is one thing I want to come in with, right? Usually when these things happen, especially when our government is leaving, she doesn't want to take any blame. So sometimes she presents the case that the problems have been solved already. So you just need to go and take the solution. So my point is that at the time the Saliva administration told you the 5, the 6, or the 7 million is already been allotted to settle all of the indebtedness. When the George Weah government took over, your first consultation, did you inquire from them as to whether that phone was there, or you just lay by the perception or perhaps what the Saliva administration have said to you at the time?
Well, we did engage. We talked with our lawmakers, the various lawmakers across all of the belts, and we're told yes, they have their money here so that we can be able to pay for the debt that we acquired during the Saliva administration. So we went to the Ministry of Youth and Sports and we were told the same thing. We just needed time that they needed to correct all of their documents because they just took over.
Let me just hold you there, Mark.
Told you at that time.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports did.
Let me just hold you there, Mark.
Was that a verbal conversation?
Yes, it was verbal.
But let me just give you more in depth on that. We met a check that was already prepared by Madam Salif in the controller office to do the first payment. The check was there, I think, 25 million Liberian dollars. Check was there.
And what's the assurance given at that time?
It was based upon that before they started doing the payment. To tell you that money was there. It was government is continuity.
Fast forward, we'll move because we have a lot of issues to look at on the discussion. Let's look at how impactful has this project been in your various communities, especially those of you from West Point and from Nicrutan respectively. How impactful has this project been for you?
Well, first, prior to the coming of the project in West Point, there have been the issue of illicit sand mining, which are on the increase. Another issue has to do with pollution. I mean, there was no specific area for people to dump garbages. They were just dumping all around in West Point, and you couldn't sit even on the beach in West Point. But since the introduction of the project in 2011, the beaches became clean, the reduction of illegal sand mining, everything went down. And people started living peacefully. So in terms of the health area, I mean, it really, really impacted our life in West Point when it comes to health. West Point used to be the area that was considered diarrhea prone. Every now and then diarrhea. But as a result of the project this time around, you hardly hear cases of diarrhea in places of West Point.
So you look at that with Nicrutan, right? Chloride was on the increase in the borough of Cruton, right? All have reduced. Because those areas are now what? Clean, right? Another thing the project did, there were so many people who are on the street, right? The fact that they start to earn their own little resources, what happened? They start to put themselves in position. Look, I can't do this because I got a job, right? I can feed my family now. I'm able to send my children to school. Okay, this project has been helping single mothers who have been sending their children to schools, paying their rent. These are the impact. And the next thing that the project does, every time government of Liberia fuels money into the economy through this program, the money goes right back into circulation. You will see the very people buying mattresses. You will see the very people buying land. You see the very people paying their children's school fee, and the same money going in circulation, benefiting the lives of ordinary Liberians.
Let's move on now. You want to tell us, despite the historicity prevalent and the impact of those projects, there have been a series of concerns. There have been a lot of protests you guys have rolled out of recent. There have been different reactions from you, folks at Beach and Waterways workers. We want you on this radio this morning to give us a definite position as to what are your concerns currently? Because we have been told the government is about to roll out another phase of this project. That's in May, sometimes of this month. So let's listen to you in the next 2-3 minutes to give us a definite position where you stand currently.
Okay, this is exactly where we stand. We signed an agreement with the Minister of Youth and Sports that this program, the workers that are waiving their money will be retained. Minister Wilson put into this agreement that they will be considered. That was the word he used. But we placed into this MOU we sent to him that they will be retained, right? Now, we, the project leadership, that signed the document with Minister Wilson, he is saying he don't want to see the project leadership. He's talking to supervisors that we controlling to recruit our people. Talking to lawmakers that got nothing to do with executive project, like Representative Sibo, Representative George, to recruit people among our people. We are telling him, saying, look, Minister, the procedures is wrong. We have signed an agreement with you, okay, that we will waive our wages, that we sweat and labor for. You will give us our job back. We agree to that. Now to give the job back, you are on another footing. If you listen to Minister Wilson on the EFBC radio, he said they are going to prioritize seditions first. Who are those seditions you are going to prioritize first? From day 1 of 2004 to 2005, Newtown, West Point, PHP, they have been voting for George Weah. Those records are there. So who are those seditions that you want to consider leaving the people that waive their money? Do you know the interesting thing with our opposition now? They call those supervisors. They call Representative Sibo. He went and called a guy called Pake. Tell him, say, go and take the people. Since Zoka Wilson don't want to see those people. You know what they did? They brought additional new people that did not waive a cent to government to come and work on this new program. The next thing we told Minister Wilson, you create a new program. If you go into the budget, last budget year, it is coastal sanitation that is in the budget. When Minister, it is not just this budget year they are rolling the program, for your information. They started rolling the program since last budget year. As a matter of fact, few of the leaders were considered on the past program. And we raised the issue that this issue, Minister, it is not about Young and Woto. This issue is not about us. It is about our people that waive their money, right? So we need to consider them. Minister Wilson set up enrichment with one guy they call One Plu. Mark went to that meeting. We went to that meeting with Minister Wilson. He posts Mark outside that he don't want to see Mark. And we had our meeting, and he said, okay, gentlemen, the project already gone further. We will consider your people in the next budget year. Just to reach to this point, because we are standing our ground. That, Minister, you cannot say you carry this project. This is where our position stands. You cannot carry the project to Nima County when the people in Mosorado who waived their money have not been considered. Why you want to go do Nima? Why you want to go do Grand
But sometimes the thing about it is decentralization.
I agree to you.
Okay.
So how do you decentralize when the people in Mosorado are crying who have not been considered that waive their wages? So what we are telling this government, our position now is, if you cannot consider our people for which we signed an agreement with you, then out of that 17 months, we pay them 6 months. You have to give their 11 months. That is our position now to the government.
Okay.
So far, you cannot consider them. You want to decentralize. You want to go Grand Basso, because Grand Basso, people calling you, you live in Grand Basso, you from Grand Basso. Consider it done. Go with your will, but pay our people their 11 months. That is our position.
Okay, so now we move on. Beginning at first, in March of this year, March 1 of this year, you were called to a meeting with the minister. Particularly, you attended that meeting as well. As for the record, your name is part of those I attended that meeting.
March 1 of this year?
March 1 of this year. According to then, Minister Wilson then invited the head monitor of the new Cretan bill, Deconte Woto, that's you, the project Region 2 coordinator Edwin V. Canaan, and Region 1 coordinator George Yuan to a meeting to find a way forward for the project.
That is fallacy.
That is fallacy.
Far from the truth.
Since the year you have been met with the minister?
No, not at all. The only meeting we had with the minister.
This is an article that was published. This is an article that was published.
Listen.
I'm coming. This is an article that was published by the Inquiry newspaper, all of which your head of project, Young, is being quoted. Okay. That you were invited. I mean, the team was invited by Minister Wilson on the 1st of March for a meeting. Okay. Out of which, following that meeting, a committee was set up. A 6-man committee was set up to go through all of the things and come up with a final resolution.
Okay, this is how it went. Okay, Representative George, right? We met at Cedia Coffee. The same woman that brought this project, or husband passed, and we went to her place, and we were taking a position that look, lawmakers, we don't want a program to be with the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We want a program to transition because there are so many things we have issue with. You understand? So this program should transition. That would have been our advocacy, right? Now, Representative George, in the budget, this current budget, it was $1 million that were placed for coastal sanitation. Those lawmakers, Representative Sibo and other people, they advocated for additional 1.5 million to be added to that 1 million, to make it 2.5 million. So, Representative George, we met, and he talked to Young. Look, Young, I want us to go and meet Zoka so that we can pull the things together. We are in an election year. We don't want confusion in the country. It was Young who went to Representative Sibo and said, look, Rep, this is why Solomon George, because Solomon George is the chair on Youth and Sports at the lower house.
I know.
Very good. So, we will be going to Minister Wilson's office Thursday or Friday. It was in that meeting that Representative Sibo calls Solomon George to confirm what Young was saying. And Solomon George admitted to him, and he said, okay, we all will go to that meeting. Young, Woto, Bere, and the Pakega will go with us. They will wait for us outside. We'll talk to Zoka. When we finish talking to Zoka, they will come outside to talk to them. It was that meeting that we went to. Only the lawmaker and Minister Wilson were in that meeting. What they discussed in that meeting, only God knows. We don't know. The only thing that came from out of that meeting, Minister Wilson said he don't want to work with the project leadership. How possible is that? How can somebody waive their money, sign an agreement with the minister, and then the minister is coming back to say he don't want to work? What is the issue? In administrative law, if you do administrative law under PADM 306, you understand that there should be a cause. When something is done, there should be a cause.
Perhaps it might appear that maybe the Ministry of Youth and Sports is no longer comfortable working with the individuals. It happens in administration. When you feel that perhaps there are certain goals need to be achieved and those charged with the responsibility are not delivering, I mean, there are reasons why you can end that working relationship with them so as to bring new people on board.
So the only reason that happens is because those people are standing for their people. That's the only reason. Because when the budget year was rolled out last year and we were considered there were no noise around here, because Minister Wilson felt that we would be quiet and not speaking for our people. But in the midst of it, we were still speaking for our people. So if we are speaking for our people and you're not comfortable with that, we say thank you. The only thing you can do, then you are breaching this MOU, right? Then the only thing you can do, you can pay our 11 months, and those you are comfortable with, go with them. There's a banning effect in this document that talks about this MOU. And the banning effect says this memorandum of understanding shall be effective on execution thereof. And the terms and conditions of same shall be binding upon the parties. So this is binding upon Minister Wilson. We are not begging him to work with the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
Let's listen to you. Perhaps you have an addition to that he just mentioned.
Yeah, so I think the meeting in question that colleagues talk about, they were just invited and they didn't even enter as to be part of the discussion. So they were just there to listen to the lawmakers after their discussion to come again and feedback and say, this is what we discussed. That's what happened. But more to that, some of us, we thought it was that I think we need to check more and more and see what's really happening. So I decided to place a call to Minister Wilson. And I said, Chief, what can we do? What's the way forward? He said, you're just going to be calm and peaceful. So I said, okay. What we need to do now is to talk to our police, how we can gather ourselves and have a meeting with you and see how we can handle the problem together so that we can't get involved into protests again. He accepted. On the day of the meeting, he wasn't at office. Minister Doe, Isaac Doe, was also not in office, and I waited. He couldn't come. We left. So to my almost surprise, he called me one day and said, what happened between you and the lawmaker? I said, well, nothing. I don't have any problem with the lawmaker. And he said, the lawmaker said, you insulted him. I said, no, that never happened. We have never had any kind of harsh discussion before. So he said, but then go back to the lawmaker and see how you can mend things with him. So I said, okay, he's my lawmaker. I got to go there. So I went there one early morning, and we talked. He said, somebody told me that you can be cursing me. I said, where? What? Insult you for what? I don't get involved in insulting other people. You 5 years older than me. I don't do it. Moreover, you're my leader, so I'm not involved in insulting people. And if you can do it as you have been doing to bring me and the person face to face to know at which point in time this happened, when I can respond to it. But for me, I had never done it before. Later when I called Zoka, he said, you and the lawmaker, your differences. I said, never had any differences. The man said, he never had anything extra against me. Since then, all of the things we talk about in terms of having dialogue and see how we can move forward to see how we can find an amicable solution to the problem have broken down. Everything has broken down. You don't call me.
But part of this is that one of the things I'm still struggling to understand is that during these times of negotiations, people count on their representatives to a higher extent, especially those of you guys from West Point have Solomon George, those of you from Newcretown have DXC, but these are individuals that work within government. They are members of the ruling establishment. So to some extent, it plays out very easily, and you could be dependent on them to help lobby for you to get away so easily. Why it appears that the leadership of this project is having some souring relationship with the representative. Am I correct?
In the manner and form you are presenting it. But that is the issue, right? Representative Jason Sibo is on record when he was launching a scholarship program that he will remove George Young and Deconti Woto from beaches and waterways.
Are there recordings evidence?
Yes. And we can forward it to you.
Which of course I will appreciate.
I will do. I will send that recording, a video recording. In fact, he told those journalists in 2019 that record me, I will remove them. You know the reason for that? The only reason was simple, because I supported Samuel Weah in 2017, who is a sedition, right? So voting George Weah is not the issue. But once you are not voting Jason Sibo, then you are not a sedition. Then you should be ostracized.
Let's move on. Part of the memorandum of understanding I have in my possession, there is a clause that I continue to listen to you that you said it is binding because you waived some months' salary. So with an understanding that the government should have had to reincorporate in the program. Now the government is saying part of that I will need to decentralize the program, take it to Nima, some part of Liberia. Some part of Liberia. So Liberians there can benefit. Your position is, if that is the case, if the government fails to incorporate you, then there is to be a need that they paid the months owed because the memorandum called for you to be considered.
Yeah,
that
was a bargaining chip.
That was a bargaining chip. But part of your memorandum of understanding you signed, I want to read that for you. It says, whereas the government of Liberia has terminated the Reclaiming Liberia Beaches and Waterways project and may likely create a new project which will then consider all workers of the service provider who will have to satisfy the conditions and criteria set by the government for such a new project. There is a part in this thing. Who will have to satisfy the conditions and criteria set by the government in the new project? Did you understand this clause? I mean, are you understanding this clause?
Yeah.
How does it interpret to you?
Okay. There were a few things that we take into consideration before closing the program. We're having so many challenges with people. Remember Minister Tue and Minister Wilson, they were chased. SKD, they were chased. Who they were chased by? They were chased by the very seditions that were brought in 2018 that were unauthorized. When we gave them the 3 months, they felt that they should receive the same 6 months with the old workers. Those people put themselves together and went to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. In our absence, they had a meeting on Minister 12. And they were chased. And Minister Wilson was even chased to his office. And it was based upon that. We said, look, people who have difficulties in terms of listening to the project leadership on how we roll the program, we will set up the criteria and see how they will go through the program. But the most important thing is that the old workers were already appealed for to be considered. You understand?
Go on.
So before this MOU was reached, right, there were verbal discussion that led to this MOU.
So in addition, in terms of the criteria talked about in the MOU, I can remember vividly when we went to sign the MOU at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Minister Wilson was very clear in terms of the criteria that he mentioned there. And one of the things he said to us was that people who are rude, people who normally misbehave, those are the criteria he's talking about. So you must have a good character to be on the project. Another thing he talked about is that you should be a resident of a particular community where the project will be executed, so that before you can be a part, you cannot be in different community and then you be in the going to the community where the project is being executed. So they're going to do all their background check in making sure that these things happen. So basically, that was the criteria we're talking about.
Because the thing about it, right, like you said, everything that has been interpreted in this clause is binding on the government and that of the service provider, which is the beach and waterways workers, to abide by. So if that be the case, then it means that at a certain point, the government might be using this clause against you. Because the thing about it is that we said we'll consider the old workers, but they must meet the new criteria and conditions set. So now the new criteria and conditions, it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Youth and Sport to lay out the new criteria. Now, the criteria lay out, the ministry could tell you that why it's true that we were to consider you, but your members or your group failed to reach the new criteria set.
But look at
then because it becomes binding as per the MOU signed.
Yeah, but look at the logic. The logic is Minister Wilson is saying this project leadership that signed the agreement with you, you don't want to talk to them.
There are no.
You want to talk to a lawmaker who did not sign an agreement with you to select the people. Who are you going to select? Who are you selecting? And Minister Wilson is on record on EFBC that look, you don't go to George Young and Deconti Woto, you go to Dixon Sibo Place. He will select you people. So the issue that there is that what we are trying to say, the logic we are pushing here is that this MOU is binding in all of the articles that are in it, not just a segment of it. So if the minister take one segment, we'll take another segment. If he take another segment,
but
we'll
this
take another
particular segment contradicts all of what you are advocating for. Because your point is that those old workers should be considered. That's granted because the MOU calls for that. But again, a clause in the MOU is telling that while it's true we are accepting that those workers will be considered, they must be satisfied. They must meet the new terms and conditions that will be set up by the new project.
Okay.
Now, the government is telling that this new project will be rolling out and we will be taking 3,000 plus people to work on this project. So to take 3,000 plus people to work on the project, the criteria, the previous conditions will be amended to a certain point, right? So the ministry might be telling you that the new amendments to the terms and conditions, it doesn't fit in with the current workforce you have. So we can work with you. Part of that as well is that another thing surfacing is that the ministry have said repeatedly, we told you we want to work with 2,000 persons. You went on, you Deconti, Young and other officials went on and recruited 5,000 persons. And when you come to the negotiation table, the 2 million was provided, it couldn't compensate the 5,000 persons. That's how they were categorized into authorized and unauthorized workers. Where are the unauthorized workers currently?
Thank you. When people push logic, and Minister Wilson is our boss. You understand?
Go on.
But this project, he met us with the knowledge of this program. Who are the authorized workers? The authorized workers are those workers that came since 2011 and been on that program. They are the authorized worker. You understand that?
Go on.
Now, do you know who are recruiting now? The unauthorized worker that we brought in 2018. They are the ones now, Minister Wilson said they must recruit the people. I'm an authorized worker. I've been on the program since 2011. He is an authorized worker. We got so many of the authorized workers over there. And you are considering the very unauthorized worker that you say you don't know about. You are telling us that because when we go on the table and look through the listing and say, let's select all of the authorized workers, the very seditions that we brought, all the people that are sedition, right? But those people that are represented, the CBO then gave us, the party coordinator then gave us, they will not work on this current program because they came in 2018. They are unauthorized. You understand? But it is the very unauthorized people you are recruiting against the very authorized people. So we are telling the minister, that is wrong. We had an agreement. Let's sit on the table and look through this agreement and look through. And another thing that the minister and the other people are pushing, look, that 2.5 million is just enough to cover all those people. See what Ministry of Youth and Sports is doing. We pay supervisor, beaches and waterway $125. Ministry of Youth and Sport drafted this new program and paying supervisor $250. And one supervisor money can serve 2 supervisors from the former beaches and waterway. We pay the manual worker $70.
What's that wrong for doing so?
It is not wrong, but you know what he have created.
Go on.
You know what he have created. Instead of taking more people, you'll be taking less people and costing more burden on government.
Who determines that? Who determines that?
Oh, we signed an agreement.
Because the thing about it is that I felt that would be applause for you guys a part of it.
No, we are not so
because
interested
the
in
thing about it, right? If you were 120 by then and now you have been elevated to 200 applause, I think that every worker would love to appreciate that.
If all of them are considered.
So the irony is that while it is true, people will pray for increment in their little earning, but it should also be done in a way that it will reach the targeted people. Now, you have 1,017% in the West Point. You went to work, you increased the earning, and now you cut it down to 100. Let's say a little over 100% what it would be factored in the entire project. So it means that you increase the money, but you put a lot of people out of the project. You put almost 800 plus person out of the project instead of having all of them being on board. So that's the irony about it. The next thing, you talk about the issue of the unauthorized, where there are several things that happen. When the CDC-led government took over, there was the appetite for people, everybody who supported wanted to be a part of everything. So as a result of that, one time, according to Honorable Solomon Claudio George, who is the representative of District Number 7, he went to walk down West Point and 3 old ladies met him. And they asked him for help. He called one of our colleagues to help them. Later, to our almost surprise, we saw the entire beach filled with people. So I raised a concern with my boss, who happened to be George Andrew Yonder. I did not understand what was happening. I just see people coming to the beach and they say they were being sent here by, one Thomas Sweat. So I asked everyone I knew to leave the beach until I can get clear understanding over it. They went to work to Honorable Solomon Jow's house and they said I was putting sedition out of job. So he called me and I went, I said, well, we just 650% on the beach. Now I see that around 1,017. How do we get payment for these people? He said, okay, what we'll do, I will come on the beach and talk to them. Send I am the representative. We're going to work on the issue and see how best we can increase the funding for the Beaches and the Waterway project so that all of those work can be factored. I accepted. The bossman can tell you this and he said, no, they're working on the budget. And that's how the numbers were. So the number didn't come from the supervisor, nor the monitor that is in the community.
Did you communicate at that time to the Minister of Youth and Sports? Because part of Minister Zirka's
Minister Wilson had issue with that.
Minister Zirka's testimony has been those people you brought on board. It didn't meet the consent of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So if that is the case, right, then it means that you guys ahead of the project must be blamed for the 3,000 persons.
No, we
that
did.
You added on the
we
list.
did. We complained to the Ministry of Youth and Sports through our bosses.
But the ministry said that they're not even knowing.
Hello? We complained to the Ministry of Youth and Sports through our
How
bosses.
did you tell me
and what happened is
was that verbal? Was that communicated to the ministry?
There is a written communication.
Do you have evidence to that written?
There is a written communication. And
Do you have evidence?
We received them before we leave from here.
When you come to these kinds of conversations, it's good you come with the evidence so that we can have a conversation.
Let me learn. So what happened is that after we complained to our bosses and reached information to the Youth and Sports, the minister called the representative, and the two of them ironed it out together that indeed we want to solve that problem. Unfortunately for us, we waited, we couldn't find any solution. We had to go back to the minister again and say, well,
I think the ministry solved that problem because the MOU you signed in the MOU, there was an agreement.
So let me
those of you authorized.
Let me tell you how the problem was
solved. Let me provide it. Can't tell me if I'm wrong. During the sign of the MOU, there was an agreement that the $2 million will be provided. Those of you authorized worker will be paid for 5-6 months. I think 5-6 months. And the unauthorized worker will receive the remaining 3 months because you guys should have been paid for 8 months. But because you guys incorporated more people in the program that was not approved, I'm saying that when approved by the ministry, right? It places the ministry under the condition then that if they don't pay those 3,000 Liberians left out of the project, it will be a whole noise in this country. So they met with their leaders by then and they accepted. Okay, fine, this is the deal. Pay us 6 more, we the authorized worker, because we take the blame for not informing you. And the remaining 3 months you have for us, pay those unauthorized worker. And that's how the negotiation went on. And it was signed in the agreement.
No, it is not how it went on. What happens is that we told Minister Wilson.
But it is in your MOU.
But it's not in the MOU like how you are presenting it. We crafted this document, right? Minister Wilson is aware. We crafted this document.
Go on.
Now, what we did in that payment, right? There was a serious audit done on beaches and waterway to know who are the new people that came, the old workers that were there, all of those documents to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We did all of the calculations. But then it was the administrative secretary to Minister Wilson, one John. We did all of that work. There was a project committee set up. Minister Famata Brisre was the head of that committee. We did a job almost 1 month working on the beach and waterway issue. The payment, most of the calculations, okay, was done when we were talking about 21 months. The calculation was done on the old workers. You understand? Even the old workers, their amount were around $5 million. John sent that document to us. That from what we calculated from the investigation done, this is what we really get for the old workers. But the other new people, they just come in. So, Minister, we need to talk to the Ministry of Finance from this amount to talk to the people. So, even if you are paying only the old workers that Minister Wilson inherited, their money is not $2 million.
Okay, we're going to move to the phone line. We are pressed with time. Before we get to the lines quickly, can you confirm on this radio that the government is not owing the beach and waterways, but rather your position is that you need those old workers should be considered in a new project? Because the minister have said repeatedly, because the minister have said repeatedly that we don't owe them. Listen to what Minister Wilson said sometime further that on May 16, the government Liberia signed an MOU with the representatives of the Beach and Waterways project that the MOU calls on the government to pay total arrears of $2 million United States dollars for all contractors, and the amount was fully paid by the government of Liberia.
So the issue that there is, when you talk to me, I got this form, and you say, look, Woto, give me this form, I will give you this document. And I gave you the form. Then instead of you giving me the document, you holding it back, you tear the document into two and want to give me half.
And you accepted the half I gave you.
Oh, but that's what we're saying.
With an understanding that everything is cool.
After you tear the document, you gave me the half. When I look at the half, I say, but it was not the agreement. So they might form here to call it into two and give me half of it. And you say, no, it can't be. I will take all your form. You just take half of the document I gave you. That we are saying that is wrong.
But
if, listen, there's our position.
Listen.
There's our position.
I'm coming before you get to your position, right? The MOU, are you considering, this is a point I want us to have an understanding. The MOU says once you signed, you are bound to live by that obligation.
Of course.
Of course.
Now, I'm coming. The point there was that instead of the government paying you maybe 16, 15 months or whatever money owe you, they're going to say, we made 2 million to that project and everything, financial status will be settled.
Yes.
With I understand that the guys will be considered, but if they meet the new terms and conditions of the new project, and you sign to that. So my position is, the first thing is that the government has cleared you financially. That's what you must admit to it, because the MOU said it and you signed for it and you have received the money. So it tells that the financial status has been cleared. So now our point is whether the government is going to consider you on the new project or not.
Okay. So this is our position. If the government of Liberia adhere to this MOU and consider the old workers, right, will not come for any claim to government, because there will be nothing to claim, because the agreement has been lived up to.
Been satisfied.
It has been certified. All conditions have been met. But if the government of Liberia does not consider our people, it means that the conditions have not been met, and we'll be coming back to the government to say, look, while you are giving all the $2 million, you have kept part of the agreement, you have not kept all of the agreement. So the Bannon people that you have not given a job to, you can give them their 11 months as a settlement for them.
In addition, is that in terms of debt, is that just money that people owe you? Now we committed ourselves to certain document and we play our part. That is, help the government, because government is going through financial difficulties, so that we can give you a little thing and then you waive portion of the money predicated upon this condition. Why is a condition? When we raise more funding, we're going to establish a new project that you'll be a part of. We accepted. So what government owes us now is the portion of the agreement that talks about getting the old worker that waived their money to be a part of this new project. That's what they are indebted to. And that's what we are asking them to do. So it's not just about money. The entire thing is not just about money.
Okay, we'll move to the phone line, take a few calls on this development. 0770-907-907. 0880907-907 adding number. So begin to take your calls now. This person, good morning and thanks for joining us. Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, I'm Matthew T. calling for Burma Bridge, supervisor of DJs and Waterway.
Quickly, Matthew, let's hear you.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the proposal from the Beaches and Waterway leadership within there is reasonable. One reason is if you sign documents that all of you people will be absorbed, for which they wait 11 months. And the process come back and say you are doing new changes that honor testing and more people. If you are attended, we before last gathering at D12 where they say the president sent somebody or we call somebody from the president's office. If you ask made up of thousands or 4,000 of human beings, they are Beaches and Waterway. So if you're bypassing the process and you are taking few people who are sedition, but by the way, before then, the process
But this is the part. How we distinguish those have been selected as seditions? This is the part I don't get.
That's a talk. I went there and all the project were on. They want sedition first. And sedition were on that beach when the project was on during Manasali time. For not a sedition. But the other people, our relatives are there, our friends are there. They were sedition. We were not party level. So they shouldn't bring party line.
Okay, we take this person. So many calls on the line. This person, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, voice of Liberia family. And let me give a pleasant good morning to your studio guest, Mr. Woto, and the other.
Quickly.
I'm NSS Tibet, and I followed the conversation from station number 16 to this specific Latin community. The issue of the beaches and waterway is a national emergency in my mind, like I said, because the beaches and waterway consume a lot of young people and a lot of old folks that work at the beach and give our beach a facelift. And with the issue of the memorandum of understanding, if you and two individuals get into agreement, the responsibility is to live up to your agreement. If the memorandum says, we have money and we include in the new project, why can't you do that? So if you're not including the project because of, quote unquote, the money is not sufficient, pay them the balance money, pay them 11 months, pay them the balance money. But if you're not able to pay them, then you include in the project. In fact, the people try now is to be included in the project. It's not all about the money, but it's included in the project because these people are the reason behind our beaches to have a facelift. These people are the reason. So we cannot abandon them at a crucial time. So the government of Liberia need to see reason. And Mr. Zoga and Sibo, they need to put themselves together. They are now a child play here. You are destroying serious business.
Okay, we'll leave you right there and take this person. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. You live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, there is Philip calling from the township of Watch Point.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me make my point and say this to the Ministry of Youth and Sport. You know, where I heard you asking our colleague Isido, the young person that the Ministry of Youth and Sport was not aware of the additional people that the lawmakers say they will come on the beach. We said no, the Ministry of Youth and Sport was aware because they had a representative on the beach. All of the beaches, their representative was there. They used to come and call names and what have you. They did not raise issue until last minute time for us to get our money, our pay. Going to get our pay at the time now, they started raising issue. And they said because they want to take some of the money, they want to eat it. And they start raising issue. How can you get a group of people sitting on that train where you call it Sekitala and the Ministry of Youth and Sport holding on to? Each of the Sekitala members making more than 500, 800.
You don't say the people are doing work. They are working. You don't disprove the fact that they are not working. I don't know, but listen, these are the people that put the documents together to ensure that these things happen. Obviously, who wake up?
Good morning.
We take this person. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Isaac calling from Bourgeois.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah, one day I want to see the start onto a document that they don't really understand. The document says we will include you, but you have to meet the criteria for the new job. You know what I'm saying now? They have the people that they don't call it. I mean, they meet the criteria for the job. Now they not want to work. So the problem will be convenient.
Okay, we'll leave you there. We'll take this person. Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta go to the second segment. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. I'm
live.
I'm from the bar.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, the issue our senior brothers are raising is very serious. You know, Honorable Sibo and Honorable Solomon Joe are seriously divided both districts. Yeah. It started from 2011 during Ellen Johnson regime. Though we didn't vote for Ellen, but the project was sustained during Ellen Johnson regime. And the people are demanding that 11 months plus that 4 months. Up to now, Sibo and Wilson, Soga Wilson and others decided to divide the district. Yeah, so these things are not going well. And the people will not rest until they get their money and get a benefit.
Okay.
They don't want to take that job.
Thank you. We take more calls. One or two more persons. We'll get back to our studio, get a close up. This person been in line for a very long time. Oh my word. And the call stay struggling to get you. I wish I take you before. Okay. I have them on. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you off. Take this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
You live. Quickly. Let's hear you.
My name is Eric Kwai and I call you from West Point.
Go ahead, Eric.
Let me say thank you to the folks in studio. You guys have actually made my day. I have called to send down a caveat to the government. What they are doing is only intended for people to rage against them doing these elections. They either choose to pay us or they risk our anger during these elections. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And obviously, this will be our last caller. Yeah. Good morning. Thanks for being our last caller.
Hello?
You live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is Major Che calling for Hotel Bell.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got serious problem with you. You keep saying criteria. Which criteria are you talking about?
So listen now, the criteria will be set. No, you ask a question now. Listen, I'll give you the time to talk. Listen, I'll give you the time to talk. We're not making arguments. Listen.
Are they taking degree order?
Very good. When you ask a question, let me answer you now. You ask a question.
Which criteria are you discussing?
Very good. The criteria now. Oh my word! I think you asked a question.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to do
all right. I felt we're having a dialogue, right? Where you talking, give me a chance. Listen, the first thing you should be blaming those assigned those are adhered to the memorandum of understanding. This is one time I was saying on this radio. When the ministry is saying that the people must meet the new criteria, you guys by that time should have demanded that the ministry specify the criteria. Because listen, you signed every contract. There are times that every agreement you enter to, there are times that agreement will backfire. There are times that people will not want to live up to that agreement again. So if the ministry was specified that criteria at the time, why if the ministry goes about and set up a new criteria? Why if the ministry goes about and design a new strategy? I mean, that clause in that memorandum of understanding is very, very, to some extent, it undermines your campaign. That we must be very clear with. So I felt that, especially at the end of the MOU, the minister telling you that once you sign, you are binding. So the binding part comes with that part that says, we will accept the people, but must meet the new terms and criteria that will be set by the ministry. Now, the terms and criteria set with the ministry. Why the ministry tells you that we will only be accepting seditions? What will you say? They will reference you to that clause. So that's why I was making you to understand that particular part, whether they understood that part at the time before signing to it. So, I mean, I felt we'll have a dialogue. But folks, we got to stop right there and get back to our studio guests. We got to go. Yeah, certainly we got to go. Gentlemen, finally we'll begin from the end and close up with him. From West Point and enter New Creek Town. Yeah.
All right, so you made it clear in terms of the criteria. Like I said initially, during the signing ceremony, the minister rolled over the criteria that were set up. So it is glaring. There is no secret behind it. Like you regularly say, one, you must be a resident of the project area. You should live in that community. You should have a good character. So those are criteria we talk about that we are aware of. So if people don't have that kind of moral, and be clear with them and say, well, Mr. Mafesin, that we cannot take you because you have been disgruntled or because you moved from West Point and you're now in EWA. That would be a different ball game. Okay. Now, if you come and say, well, Mr. Mafesin, that we can't take you because the criteria is that we want only seditions, then we say, well, then go on the beaches to the same people that they who are sedition, take them. But you're still not taking them. So why are you telling me? So I think, like my colleague Eric regularly said, it reached a point where we have to be decisive. So we would not rest because it is we that are carrying the greater responsibility in making sure that what we told our people it be adhered to. Like we said, you cannot do the agreement haphazard. You do one portion and leave the other portion, or you gotta do it in totality, do all together. So our concern now, we are encouraging the Ministry of Youth and Sports. We are not fighting them. We're starting to encourage them that they do all portions of the agreement in totality, where we live in peace and harmony. If they fail to do so, there will be many approaches. There will be many approaches that will make them to understand. If you think you can embarrass us and save comfortably, then you are joking. You must be a serious joker to think that way. Because embarrassment will come in all forms. Embarrassment will come in all forms where we'll be able to make their own children pressure them to respect document when they sign it. Okay. Embarrassment will come in all forms. We will make their women to embarrass them that they should respect document when they sign it. So we are prepared. This is not just for one day thing. And I think what they are doing is to put the branding on the shoulder of the president to say, well, he's a head, so everybody will go to the... No, this time around the protest will not just be for the president alone. If there will be any protest, it will be for them and their children also. Because we're going to barricade their school and at the school not to let them enter until their parents respect what they sign. It's not just for the president. Okay, nobody will think that just going to the president or going to the mansion to protest. The gap way we'll do it will be very radical and we'll make sure they listen because they are trying to tell them, Daddy, we are tired with the embarrassment. Go and listen to the people cry. That's our concern.
We got to leave you and get to that country will close up quickly. We'll have the second segment coming
I just want to say thank you for hosting us.
Thank you.
It's been a nice conversation, even though you have a very strong position. And we want to appreciate you for that. And what happened is that we remain firm. We are steadfast in this issue. We are not moved. As a matter of fact, we have been threatened. Our lives have been threatened because we are standing in the interest of our people. President, we have done well to put $2.5 million in our budget to cover our people. But Minister Wilson, for whatsoever reason we don't know, you don't want to consider our people. We will not rest until the MOU can be lived up to. Thank you, and may God bless our beach and waterway people.
Well, thank you. There has been our guest on this first segment. It comes from the beach and waterways. Yeah. So that has been our guest. Certainly, folks. We'll go for this break. When we come back, we complete the second and final segment of the program. This is Good Morning Liberia, the Thursday edition. Go for this break. TLC Liberia is our sponsor.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct
Indeed, Telecel Liberia is our sponsor. Yeah, but Good Morning Liberia. That's why we always encourage you, to do business with Telecel Liberia in terms of your internet needs. I do business with Telecel, and trust me, you won't regret it at all. So we doing all the necessary adjustment to bring our guest on, like we said, on the second and final segment of the show. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to have these kinds of conversation, especially I pertain to the growth and development of Liberia, the business community. I'm worried. I hope I can get this thing correct. Yeah, I hope I can get this correct. But we're doing everything possible, to bring our guest on. I'm worried. Where is this thing? I'm getting a feedback. I don't know where it's coming from. Are you hearing me? Are you?
Yes, I can get you. I'll get you loud and clear. Yes, I can get you. I'll get you loud and clear. Yes, I can get you. I'll get you loud and clear.
I'm getting a feedback. I don't know where is this feedback coming from. Are you hearing me still?
Yes, I got you. Can you hear me?
I don't know what is happening with this thing. I'm getting a feedback from this live. Oh my word. I think I have to do some adjustment. Yeah, certainly I have to do this. Adjustment to be back. Yep, we have to do this adjustment. Yep, I'm getting a feedback. Obviously, I'm having a feedback. And it's not good. It's not good at all for that. Oh my word. We'll have to go for this break. Yeah, folks. Yeah, we'll have to go for this break to do necessary adjustment.
That suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more. Anything is possible with Telecel Liberia. Get your own streaming box for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Showmax, and more. At Telecel, our amazing 24-hour customer service is there to help you with all your needs. Telecel Liberia, super fast speed, 24 hours technical support team, the best broadband and fiber optic internet service in Liberia. For more information, please call 0770-399-399 or 0881-399-399. Or stop by our office on 3rd Street, Syncor, opposite the Carter Center and GLZ building. Visit our website, telecelliberia.com. Email us at info@telecelliberia.com. Telecel Liberia, the best internet service provider, is here for you. Telecel Liberia, connecting the unconnected.
I want to flex my love. I want to bless.
Are you tired with slow internet? Do you want super fast and affordable internet? Telecel Liberia is here to provide all your internet service needs. The internet is moving at a fast pace, and only super fast internet speed can help you keep up. At Telecel, our internet packages are divided into distinct categories: Mega, Optimal, Premium, Elite, and Big Business that suits kids, universities, schools, hotels, beaches.
I'm still having this feedback. I just don't know what. But hope the guys can help me out. Yep, I'm doing a little bit of adjustment, folks. We want to bring our guests on, but we're experiencing one of two. Yeah, problem that we have to. Okay, I get it. I think I have it. I want to get this thing on this side. All right. I think it's much better. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I got you. I got you.
Okay, I get it. I get it. Thanks for being on the program, folks. On the second and final segment of the show, like we have announced to you, our guest on this segment is a seasoned entrepreneur with business industrial experience, valuable transferable skills in relationship building and strategic planning. He is the Chief Executive Officer at Umbrella Group Incorporated, Liberia. He is also representing Liberia's interest at the World Business Angels Investment Forum. Our guest is Mr. Jeremy E. Sheldon Jr. Good morning and thanks for joining Voice of Liberia this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
We want to begin this conversation. But firstly, what do you hope to achieve after this interview?
Well, actually, after the interview, I hope that all the stakeholders, the investors, entrepreneurs, SMEs, and policymakers in Liberia will be able to see the tremendous opportunity of Liberia being a part of the World Business Angel Investment Forum.
Okay, we begin. It's also important to care about the well-being of our guest. You know, Mr. Sheldon, you care to tell us how you've been doing in recent and your family as well.
Well, my family and I have been doing very well. Thank God for that. And just the usual activities are going on and trying to make things better, so to speak. But thanks for asking.
And the Liberians are listening, watching as well via our various media platforms. You gave us a summary of your biography. Who is Mr. Jeremy E. Sheldon Jr.?
Okay, well, as you mentioned, my name is Jerome E. Sheldon. I'm an international partner with World Business Angel Investment Forum, Forum. WBAF, and I represent Liberia as well. I'm also the CEO of the Umbrella Management Group Incorporated. And of course, I have a business industrial experience with valuable transferable skills. I want to say in relationship building, strategic planning, consulting, and project management. I also have a strong track record of quickly learning and adapting in the new and complex situations. So I'm eager to leverage a diverse range of talent, engaging in professional setting. And last but not least, I'm committed to lifelong learning and personal development.
Okay, we move on now. You are representing Liberia at the World Business Angels Investment Forum, an affiliating partner to the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion. Firstly, give us an overview of this forum.
Sure. The World Business Angel Investment Forum, that's WBAF, is an international organization, and as you mentioned, an affiliated partner of the G20 Global Partnership for Financial Inclusion. Now, the organization serves as a platform for promoting angel investment, entrepreneurship, and early stage investment ecosystem globally. The forum brings together the angel investors, venture capitalists, entrepreneur, policymakers, and other stakeholders to discuss and exchange ideas on fostering innovation, economic growth, job creation through investment in startups and small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. It provides a networking and matchmaking platform too. It facilitates knowledge sharing and support capacity building in the field of angel investment. And as a representative of Liberia at the WBAF, I have the opportunity to showcase the investment potential and the entrepreneurial talent of Liberia, connecting them with international investors and explore collaboration, enhance the startup and SME ecosystem in Liberia. So basically, overall, the World Investment, the World Investment Forum plays a crucial role in connecting angel investors, entrepreneurs, and policymakers to investment opportunity. And also the entrepreneurship development, economic growth worldwide.
Okay, I'm sure that Liberians are keen and they want to know how can a country become a member of the World Business Angels Investment Forum, and are there criteria that a country must meet to become a member of the forum?
Well, to become a member of the World Business Investment Forum, a country must have a policy framework, foster ecosystem development with angel investors, network, and venture capitalist firms, providing entrepreneurship support through initiatives and program, and also demonstrate collaboration and engagement with international organizations and members country in knowledge sharing and best practices for angel investment.
Okay, when did Liberia become a member of the forum?
Liberia became a member of the forum back in March of this year.
That's this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are there factors for which all of those years Liberia has been out of the forum, not until March of this year? Someone must say that perhaps it's just new. We are just a new member to the forum. What has happened, during the past years of which Liberia was never a member of the forum?
It's interesting because when I became a member there, it was to my surprise too, that a global organization like this. I want to say a prestigious one too. That there's no one there. I was the only person there from Liberia. But at least the good thing now is being in there, and of course, bring Liberia to the table, so to speak. to address some of the issues and challenges that are in Liberia, and also the potentials, the business potential as well too.
Okay, empowering economic development in countries around the continent is essential. Africa is experiencing tougher constraints, especially with the effects of the global health crisis and other existing factors. What is the significance of Liberia's presence at the World Business Investment Forum?
That's a good question. Liberia participation, I would say, in the World Business Angel Investment Forum holds great importance for its economic development and Africa overall progress. What the forum does is that it provides Liberia with access to investment opportunities, allowing the country to connect with angel investors and venture capitalists interested in supporting local startups and projects. Now, this access to capital fuels economic growth, as you know, and it also stimulates innovation and generates employment. Now, moreover, I would say Liberia benefits from knowledge sharing, capacity building at the forum. So by engaging with other countries, investors, and entrepreneurs, Liberia can learn from their experiences and best I would say, practices in angel investment and entrepreneurship. Now, this knowledge exchange, as you know, will strengthen Liberia's own entrepreneurship ecosystem. It will facilitate effective policy development and also build expertise in early start financing.
I've had a time to read through the manifesto of the World Business Angels Investment Forum. And so to speak, part of it calls for limiting the burdens on entrepreneurs by enhancing digital inclusion. I mean, how can we achieve that in post-war Liberia, especially a country that is challenged with the digital world, a country where entrepreneurs are not, acquainted with the internet in terms of using the internet to explode? I mean, it appears that we are far from achieving that goal. So it brings us to a point now to ask you, as representing our interests, as to how can we achieve that in Liberia?
I would say achieving digital in post-war Liberia. Like you said, to limit the burden on entrepreneurs. That would require a multifaceted approach that addresses I want to say infrastructure, education, affordability, and policy. Now, some of the key strategies that can help enhance Liberia inclusion would be one, infrastructure development. As you mentioned, to improve and expand the telecommunication infrastructure, right? Including the availability of reliable internet connectivity and mobile network. So this involves investing in the broadband infrastructure, also expanding network coverage, to undeserved areas. I would say underdeserved areas, including the rural communities. Another area would be access to affordable devices. Be able to promote the availability and affordability also of digital devices such as smartphones, tablets, and computers. Having these things can help Liberia to partnership with manufacturers. Another area too I'm thinking of would be digital skills training. Providing training programs and of course initiatives to enhance digital literacy and also skills among entrepreneurs and in the workforce. Now, this includes training of using digital tools, online platforms, digital marketing strategies. Collaborating with educational institutions and NGOs and private sector organizations to help facilitate these training programs. So just some of the few things that need to be addressed.
There are other organizations currently in Liberia rolling out, especially the way you talk about the digital marketing, enhancing the using the internet to enhance business, trade, and finance. To the free flow of business. There are a few organizations, but one of the challenges that show up is that bulk of the entrepreneurs in Liberia are not expressing interest, especially when it comes to the digital, using the internet, to as a medium, to do business and what have you. There are bulk of Liberians are doing business that are afraid. One, you want to talk about they're afraid of fraud. Different reasons play out. So it means that it requires a whole new approach. It requires a whole new conversation, and perhaps we need awareness to be carried out. That which places a very huge burden, especially on people, on persons like you that are representing the interests of the country out there.
Yes, you're right. That can be a challenge, but it's not something to kind of shy away from. I always think like the internet services in Liberia, especially having a reliable one, really can open up the door to so many things. Because as you mentioned, being afraid, sometimes it stems from ignorance. If you don't know certain things, you're a little bit more apprehensive about it. But the more I would say like a little child. One of the things that made the children very smart in a sense is that they're not afraid to get hurt. To get hurt. So they put their head, they mess around with things, and doing those things are what make you better, confidence, and comfortable with it. So the internet is an era where yes, it is challenging, but that's the gateway to outside Liberia. Allowing Liberians to venture out, as opposed to just being, stuck in a sense. I would say with things just in the country. So that's something that needs to be addressed, especially having a reliable internet services.
We will want to look at there are a limited number of Liberians involved with large-scale businesses, and arguably we have the foreign nationals are controlling our market, which is an added burden on the heads of Liberian entrepreneurs. The competition that exists. However, can you provide your honest analysis on the business climate of Liberia?
The business climate in Liberia kind of represent I want to say represent, but present a mixed opportunities and challenges. Now, of course, while the country has made progress, in creating favorable environment for businesses, and I say favorable because in some other African countries, that's a challenge to even start a business. But there are still limitations and hurdles to overcome. Now, one challenge is limited number of Liberians, as you mentioned before, in large-scale businesses with foreign national dominating certain sector. So this creates additional burden for Liberian entrepreneurs, such as limited access to capital, market competition, and unequal market dynamics. However, the government has shown efforts in promoting entrepreneurship, implementing business-friendly policies, and attracting investment. So I think addressing the barrier to entry and fostering a more exclusive business climate will be crucial for empowering Liberian entrepreneurs and, of course, promoting sustainable economic growth.
Are there factors responsible for the downward trend in our business environment? And if yes, how can we solve these problems?
Yes, the downward trend in Liberian business environment, I want to say can be attributed to factors such as mentioned, limited access to finance, inadequate infrastructure, bureaucratic order, unequal market dynamics. To address these challenges and foster a more conducive business climate, several key actions can be taken. Firstly, improving access to finance, through specialized financing program and microfinance initiative. So you can provide entrepreneur with the necessary capital for business growth. Secondly, investing in infrastructure development. That means including roads and electricity and internet connectivity will create a more enabling environment for businesses to operate effectively. Streamlining regulation, reducing bureaucracy, and enhancing transparency can simplify administrative processes and promote ease of doing business. Additionally, promoting local, as you mentioned, entrepreneurship through training, mentorship, capacity building programs will empower local entrepreneurs and their competitiveness. Encouraging collaboration among government, the private sector, and civil society. International organizations will leverage resources and expertise to support business growth. And lastly, foreign businesses will create a level play. Implementing policies that ensures fair competition and equal market opportunity for both local and foreign businesses. To me, will create a level playing field.
We move on now. Part of this journey, you representing Liberia-VOL Business Forum, part of this journey will require the support of national government by creating a conducive environment business-wise to succeed in this endeavor. We are concerned, what's the relationship with national government, especially currently now that you're representing Liberia at the Business Forum?
Well, it's an ongoing process right now. I'm reaching out to a few government entities, on the business sectors, to see how basically can be able to collaborate with them. And because of course, part of my I want to say downside is the fact that I'm not in Liberia most of the time. But meeting with these entities and these individuals will kind of help me to understand a little bit more as to what on the ground, what challenges are, and also the opportunity as a whole, and be able to present that in the forum. In other words, bringing to the platform as well.
What's the assurance, Mr. Shedon, that your presence at the World Business Forum will create opportunities for Liberian entrepreneurs? Are there assurance that you can give on this platform?
Yes, I would say that. From a personal standpoint, just a few time that have been there, I've been able to set up meetings and met with other investors, entrepreneur that's in the forum from various countries. Globally. I've been able to form some partnership. For UMG. So I know that it can be done. One of the partnerships that we've forged was with electronic technology company that is in the Netherlands, and that geared towards ICT, in terms of solar panel, IoT, those things. Anything that deals with the technology. And this is a company here that have a lot of connection with manufacturers. So now we can be able to our partner with them, technology to Liberia. So yes, I can say the insurance is there. And that amount of goal to be able to have these dreams and ideas, to connect them with these investors.
We'll move on now. It is our understanding as well that you have a company in Liberia. I mean, you care to tell us the name of that company and what are you involved with?
Yes, a company, and I would say a part owner
company,
too.
and I would say a part owner too.
It's called the Umbrella
It's called
Management
the
Group
Umbrella Management Group
Incorporated.
Incorporated.
And you said it.
Part of your
And you said
aim, part of your aim is to integrate business to reach that best level of understanding. How do you intend achieving on this?
It's through partnership.
Partnership.
Something similar to what I
to
mentioned about
what I mentioned about
WBAF.
WBAF.
Coming together with entrepreneur and SMEs
entrepreneur and
to see how we can kind of work together. Because a lot of times it's not just to scale up a company or business or to bring an idea to life.
scale up a company or business or to bring an idea to
building a
life.
brand,
It's
and
building a
credibility.
brand
And so
credibility.
that's the area that I'm primarily
that's the
focused
area
on.
that I'm primarily focused on.
Building our partnerships so we can help to build
Building
the
our partnerships
brand
so we can help to build
this
the
company
brand of
along with
this
the
company,
credibility.
along with the credibility.
And branding and marketing strategies are the most common problems faced with Liberian businesses. Most Liberian businesses are struggling in terms of branding. Most of them have the mind to have the individuals that are willing, are committed to the process. But the issue about branding and the different market strategies remain a problem. And continuously we see businesses rise and fall. Start up very good at the end, they fall along the way. I mean, are there pieces of advice you can provide on this platform to Liberian businesses, those entrepreneurs listening to the platform, listening to the program, that the different ways they can go about, and so we can start to build a business environment that we can be proud of. And since this company is owned by a Liberian, I mean, that company is owned by a Liberian businesses are flourishing.
Yes. Branding is very essential. And to put in the litmus term, it's like you see somebody walking down the street. In most cases, for us, as humans, we prejudge. So if that person walking towards you, you would draw a conclusion in your mind as to whether you can walk close to that person or you can walk away from that person. And what branding does is that it gives you that opportunity to be approached. Somebody take you seriously. So when we talk about branding, for example, having a website. It's common as it may seem, but it's a very effective tool. But it's because it helps build your credibility. People can see you. They can follow you. You can express your vision through those things. Even how you deal with customers. Customer etiquette. Those are things that are very important. And with Liberia, we have to change our mindset. We have to look outside. A lot of times, you say, "Well, this don't work in Liberia." Or this is an American thing, or this is a European thing. The person think that way. They basically just themselves right there for innovation. So you have to look beyond those things because regardless of whatever people think, that American thing or that European thing, it's not a coincidence. If we know today that these are the driving countries, or we say developed countries, because they look outside the box. So branding is one of the huge things I'm very passionate about. Helping businesses. It's a matter of you taking. I want to say, in a sense, you taking seriously yourself.
Okay.
Business card. Website. A location where you meeting your customers, your clients. All of these things it helps you to establish yourself, whether people take you seriously.
Yeah, but part of that is a perception that lives among entrepreneurs in Liberia that having a website having all our social media handles can only be used for the big businesses. And most often you see a Liberian entrepreneur have their shop, have their marketplace. You go to them, have a conversation about building a website where they can market their products. They will tell you that this thing doesn't, imply to the kind of business I do. It is often, it is needed for big businesses. And so you find out that most of them, that's a perception that we continue to live with yet.
Yes, and so that's what I want to work on.
That's what I want to work on.
That mindset, to be able to change that
to be able to
mindset.
change that mindset.
You have to look at yourself.
You have to look at yourself.
People say you have to respect yourself.
You have to
first,
respect
before
yourself.
respect you.
Respect you.
If you view yourself in that light, that's how others will see you.
That's how others will see you.
So the concept, of having this kind of appearances,
when it
comes to business. Branding is like dressing. What you put on that people take you seriously. We have to work. We have to be able to address this issue. But it also comes to as we mentioned, the exposure. Internet services. The average person, can't really stay online enough. Because they need credit to get internet. But there's so much you can learn from the outside. And as long as we have these kind of infrastructure challenges that can create a hindrance for entrepreneur to be to kind of innovate. I know, like in a little short time, I was down. You can see the creativity. In Liberians. They're trying to do something.
Are you confirming that? The new breed of generation we have, and that people have taken interest in doing different things to get different results?
Yes. The younger generation now. Technology is a phase now. There's no way we can. We can hide behind that. You have to be in front of technology, and then with the rapid changes in technology, in itself, a person can educate themselves about a business idea just on YouTube. Not everybody can afford to go to school. But YouTube can teach you how to do things. But having access to that internet platform, that's the challenge too. But the younger generation now, they are more in tune. You see them on TikTok, Facebook, and to say something, Facebook and Instagram, you can actually make money from those things.
Okay.
If you know how to navigate them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now we move on. All of what you spread out has been a very, very brilliant conversation. But one of the things that left, that of which we must attend to, is the issue of now you are at the VOL Investment Business Forum. You also run a company in Liberia. It makes you grounded now in the business environment. How can other entrepreneurs learn from you? What are the different ways they get connected to you? Perhaps someone need an advice. I believe and I'm convinced as well that bulk of them listening to the radio, following the live feed, or want to understand what are the different ways to get in contact with you. I mean, what are the different strategies they can employ in Avira businesses moving forward, that they can start, Liberian businesses, because it is our dream. It is our expectation that we see Liberians, there are satisfied entrepreneurs.
Yes. Starting a business is always a challenge. You have to believe in what you're trying to do. You have to believe the problem that you're trying to solve. And kind of stick with that and go with it. So even I myself here, as you mentioned, I'm with WBAF. and I also have a business in Liberia. It's also a learning process for me as well too. And so that's why I really need the partnership. With local, entrepreneur, giving some ideas. We can kind of share ideas back and forth. And that's the goal with UMG. Building these strategic partnerships in ways that we can help each other, so to speak. Because there are business opportunities that you can be in Liberia, and you can make some good bit of money without having to have your business operate in Liberia, so to speak, even though you are living in Liberia. Like I talk about the online presence, that platform. You can open up a store online where you become the mediator. You have sites like Alibaba. We have Amazon. You can get product from Amazon. And link them. And you can operate that thing right in Liberia, and you can receive revenue from it. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that you're doing business in Liberia because you're in Liberia. But it's outside too. So that's something I turn to bring to the platform, or the partnership, so to speak. With individuals. So reaching out to me, I'm on LinkedIn. And of course, UMG is right there off of SB Copper Road. If you go on our website, it's a very simple website to get on. It's umgbase.com. You can get more information there. You can reach out to the staff. You can reach out to the as well too. And I'll be glad to set up a meeting. And have a discussion.
So it means that you are open for partnership currently.
Yes.
So that other Liberian businesses, or other businesses that are also interested in partners can join you on this course.
Right. We can do that.
We'll move on before we get to the phone lines. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, and within our partnership too, being a part of WBAF, I can link, entrepreneur with investors or other entrepreneurs. They can share knowledge, in the same field, make that connection, and work together.
Okay, so before we get to the phone lines now, it is important we bring in this last question, especially. What is your expectation from Liberians and the public, especially in terms of support and coordination? Now that you are representing Liberia-VOL Business Forum, it is to some extent that investors will be attracted to the business community of Liberia. And so what are the expectations? What are your expectations, from Liberians and the public especially?
Well, for me, my expectation is to be able to expose the opportunities that WBAF have. And I hope that Liberians, entrepreneur SMEs, they can take advantage of this opportunity. In the forum, usually I'm a member of the startup committee. And in there, you have a lot of folks from Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya. Like from the African continent now, a lot of countries there. Internationally too, Dubai, Singapore. I'm actually sitting in rooms with investors, CEO of these companies, and things of that nature. And so it's easy to be able to reach with these individuals. So if you are entrepreneur in Liberia, you have some ideas, don't give up on it. Reach out to me. I can see if I can put you in someone. It's not always the financial side of things. Somebody in that field. I can share knowledge. They can partner with you. But that's one thing that they encourage. That's one thing that they encourage in the forum.
Okay, so we keep you backstage. We'll take a few calls on this development. Yeah. I will keep it backstage until 1 or 2 calls on this development and wrap up. Liberians, especially those of you having business ideas, it's important at times. It's not always to discuss the politics. Sometimes we bring this kinds of conversation on board to help you. I know there are a lot of Liberians out there with business idea. For some of you already, you have a business running. This is a perfect opportunity for you. And this is what we do at times. We seek for those already in these different areas to bring them on the conversation, and so you can place a call for those of you having concerns. You can place a call to 0770-907-907, 0770-907-907. We'll take 1 or 2 calls and we'll get back. Perhaps it's a question, it's a concern you want to raise, something you want to ask, perhaps as how can you be part of this is very important. Yep, I too take interest in this a whole lot, and that's why we brought this conversation on both 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907 are the numbers. This person is right here. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my word, I missed that card. Another one coming in. 0770-907-907 are the numbers. We'll talk to this person. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. My name is Henry Barasiki Basson from Oro Vietnam.
Let's hear you on this.
Yeah, thanks for the program. Thanks, actually. I'm a small businessman, like what the fellow was saying in studio. I actually have my business account that I opened up Facebook. He was talking about promotion. But then I created stuff like that, but I really don't know how to promote myself to make people, go for my business. I have a little shop gate town around the Old Stone Junction, but then I need some ideas to share it, so people can be able to come to my area. I created a page, but I really don't know how to tell myself. So I would really like to be a part of that program. It's time to come.
Thank you. We do it like this. Take a few calls, 0770-907-907. For those of you having concerns, we'll talk to this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Emeka. I'm calling you from Partners Estate.
Go ahead, Ernest.
Yeah, based on what you guys discussing, I would like to be a part of that program because I'm also a business person and I operate an electronic shop in Partners Estate. Yeah, but hello?
Go on. He slipped off. We'll take a few calls again. 0770-907-907. These are opportunities that are necessary, especially for Liberian businesses. You come in, take advantage, especially when they talk about branding and other issues. It's important you take advantage of these things. Ask a necessary question. What are the different ways you can be a part? It's important. It's important you be a part of this process. We'll take this person, this right here. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, sorry, we lost that call. Or another person. 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907. Yeah, for those of you reaching out on the Lone Star and telling me you finding it difficult to get you, keep trying. I didn't feel concerns coming up from the live feed. You're trying to get you on the Lone Star. Keep trying. Definitely going to come on. 0770-907-907, 0880-907-907 are the numbers. Ayosin Yeba says, I'm watching. Thanks, Ayosin. Melvin Canto says, I am watching. James Stowell says, I'm watching from Vonjoman. Thanks, James. Tile Koniwen says, I'm watching. T. Sylvester Yenswai says, I'm following via radio. Good morning, guys. Thanks. So kindly. Jerry and Sebo says, following closely from Sano. Thanks, Jerry. Simeon Davis Cody Senior says, keep up the good work. I'm watching live in compound number 3, Grand Bassa County District. Number 4, Wayzone. I hope I get the place. Solomon Conan says, thank you very much. Thanks, Solomon. All those of you watching as well, we say thanks so kindly. And definitely we are pressed with time. 2 minutes to wrap up. Yeah, we'll get back to our studio guest to close on Mr. Jerome Sheridan. We'd love to wrap up. Listen to a few of the concerns from the callers and those of the fellows, those of the other individuals on the live feed as well, commending you for the effort. You want to close up quickly on 1 or 2 words before we take leave of you.
Yes, basically, just to let the viewers and listeners out there know that I am available. If they reach out even to the studio, you can give them information. To be able to chit chat with them, and of course we located on SD Cooper Road. Have the general manager, Martin Dean, and can be able to reach out to him and be able to set up a meeting. This is a great opportunity. To connect, these entrepreneurs and small businesses to be able to get some connection outside. They wanted to call us mentioned about the branding part of things, or trying to expose the business out there. That's something that we can definitely work along with. Help to get the business out as well too. So if you can reach out, that'd be nice.
Okay,
thank you so much
for
Harry.
Thank you so much
for having me as well.
Thanks so kindly. I appreciate wholeheartedly. Indeed, he's Mr. Jerome Sheridan Jr., the CEO of Umbrella Group Incorporated Liberia, and also representing Liberia's interest at the World Business Investment Forum. He's been our guest on the second and final segment. Folks, this is all the time we ought to be with you on the program.
Schools, hotels, beaches, homes, offices, urban areas, and much more.
Indeed, certainly this all the time we ought to be with you. Thanks so kindly for those of you that follow us. Indeed, we appreciate. Good morning, Liberia. We'll take our regular break and to be back on Monday fresh. Until then, thanks so kindly. Thanks to the Good Morning Liberia team. April and Parker. Yeah. It's about time to take leave on this conversation, folks. Thanks so kindly. And this has been a Harris has been a presentation. Indeed, I talk to you when I talk to you. Bye-bye from my end. I'm out.